everybody.
Hey.
Can everyone hear me way in the back?
Yep.
Wow, really? And I even feel like I'm super low energy right now, but that's just how loud I am. So I'm going to read you all 3 poems, and I hope you like them. Oh, by the way, Greg mentioned that I run a poetry and performance series called The Hootenanny. The next one is on October 28th. If you want to know more, come find me later. Jordan O'Jordan is going to play music. Megan Falley from New York is going to read poems. And it's Halloween themed, so you can dress up. And if I get my shit together, there's going to be apple bobbing. Just saying. For Jordan, 18, after she moves back in with her former teacher, James Hooker, 41. When he calls you for the 50th time at your mother's house, begging you to come back, you will loosen your grip on your childhood bed. You fled here after he was jailed because there were other girls younger than you when he tells you he is leaving his wife and children, has quit his job at the school, the one you dropped out of in your senior year to be with him. You will believe he loves you that much. I am 27. My boyfriend, 39, but this is not the relationship that broke me. I have slept in the hands of lovers who could not hold me without a choke chain, have wet my tongue on the sandpaper of apology after apology without the relief of change. This is what he will do. He will love you like the ocean loves a cut tulip, like a subway map, folded and refolded in his back pocket. He will love how much easier you are to fold, to crease his seams into. Charisma is a dangerous beast, a blessing of artists we do not know how to wield. His charisma is a crack in his body that can only be filled with girl after girl because he believes he is not worthy of adult love. The things we choose to believe can kill us. I have believed every mistake was mine. Have believed leaving would hurt him so much. Have slept in my horrible, wrong body, wanting my lover to blossom into a field of opening poppies, wanting him to pull the salt from the evening fighting match with his own hands. And when he did not change, I have stayed anyway, forgetting that 50 phone calls does not equal love. That telling me he'll leave her does not equal love. That begging me to stay does not equal love. I am not here to tell you what to do. I know power can be out of balance in any relationship. I know sometimes love finds us in a person we did not expect, but I also know that any man who truly loves you will back away from your body until your hands are strong enough to fight him, that any person deserving of your love will not bind the limbs of the tree you are becoming, that trust is never built on volcanoes. Trust is what you make when the person at the blackboard smiles at the person in the desk and makes sure they know they can grow up to be anything. I feel like all my poems tonight are sort of about youth in one way or another, so just keep that roller coaster in mind. Who here ever got in trouble with their parents for staying out later than they were supposed to?
Never.
No. Wow, there's like a lot of people here who never got in trouble for doing that. I'm kind of surprised.
They get caught.
Other
Never
things. Amethyst Rockstar.
Nice.
1 a.m. on a Saturday, and my parents will not let me go to Detroit ever again. My father has waited up for me with disappointed eyes, a police line on his tongue. This is before cell phones, when I carry quarters in my pocket like miniature silver heavens, the release of youth, a mere payphone away. But for once, I have been up late, in a city whose hugeness calls to me like novels, whose brownness quakes my parents from their sleep. I have been out with queers, poets, and girls, the sweat of the outdoor Saul Williams techno combination concert dripping off of us like hellfire, the rain drenching our tiny bodies. I am glad for the wool socks that Sailor loaned me in his wooden room before we ran to the van, before her dog, Boca, licked my feet, and there were vegan sandwiches, bars that served till 1 a.m. A whole city that is really a city is really an escape route. 20 minutes from the forest and dirt roads, but more than anything, there was the invitation. The obvious cramming into the van to make room for a girl whose body I did not even know I inhabited. My father and I stare at each other from across the living room. His joy that I have finally found friends battling the beer on my breath. His robe is a weapon that says, I wrap myself in family. I am wrapped in a new raincoat my mother bought me, but I am also wearing my new raincoat's first cigarette burn. I reek of smoke. I wrap myself in the silence of daughter. It is when I first know what I belong to and what I will leave behind to get there.
Yeah.
Get out of here! Alright, I have one more poem for you guys. How's everyone doing?
Yay!
Thank you so much to Greg and Alex and Graham and Aaron and Chocolati and everybody who organized. I'm so happy to be here. How I learned to love myself. A work in progress. Remember the sandbox you were kicked out of at 3. Because they said you weren't good enough. That is real. It happened to you. Remember the heat lightning storm on your back porch in your first house in Seattle. How those 2 boys kissed you, then kissed each other, then kissed you again while the electric sky lit up the whole valley. You were desire at least once. Remember, you were power and ownership and body. Remember the light on that morning and that morning. And on till your brain is a blur of boys in bed in the light of gray rain. Remember your first oyster. The whole animal slick and salt in your mouth, an absolute map towards what the body has earned. It is time for a deep breath. Stick your hands in the dirt. Remember the blurring panic of your youth, the way every adult turned their ears to you like air raid sirens, willful misunderstanding pumping from their stereo mouths. Try to remember the beginning. Your obsession with Medusa, turned to stone by her own beauty, a horse sprouting from her severed neck when he sliced head, clean from her body. Think of your hands, how they clutched the butcher knife, back and forth and back and forth and round the kitchen island like cartoon villains. How you were crying, chasing your brother, thinking you'd use that 8-inch blade on him, but you were crying, and then your reasons for holding it were all fucked to hell in your brain. The one your first therapist called your good brain. The brain that could not do math, or make him love you, or put down the knife without first searing its feeling into your palm so you cannot forget its weight, cannot leave behind its safety. Little 8-year-old Sarah clutching the butcher knife, 11-year-old Ivan scared or not scared. This do not remember. If you find it hard to love yourself after this, think of your parents, how they did not insist on therapy, how they did not call the incident with the butcher knife bad, how they knew whatever had sucked your palm towards that steel like a magnet was bad enough, how they did not call you daughter in the voice that makes it clear you are not, or gremlin, or night thing, how they gently backed away and said, maybe she will be a knife thrower, magician, maybe she will wield the broken pieces of herself towards each other till they fuse back together and it freed that horse from your throat. And when you caught your reflection in the kitchen knife, you did not freeze. You howled till they understood under your surface were hammering hooves, till they understood you held this blade because all around you were sawtooth smiles, masquerading as adults who understood you, but you were not a little girl. You were a head of snakes with red eyes in your throat. Think of your hands, how you did not use the knife, but how you held it, just the same. And when there was nowhere left to turn to, how you could feel its weight into your hip, lean into your scream like a shoulder or a chest, and the story would be there, waiting for you to tell it, waiting for you to pull it from your chest like Excalibur and say, see what made me, see what I am pulled from the stone. Thank you.